Welcome to the video tutorial on the University Time Tracking System, reporting absences for sick, vacation, and other time. This is the second in a series of videos on time tracking that is accessed through the PAWS portal. This video will go through the process of a supervisor approving time that has been reported. You may refer to the first video if you would like further information on reporting and submitting time by the employee. You will first log into PAWS, then navigate to Employee, My Employment Channel, and you will see two links. One for Time Review, to review time taken for all employees reporting to you, and one for Time Approval, to review and approve monthly time taken. You may also see another link for Time Reporting. This would be for reporting your own time if you are in a position that is exempt or within scope of CUPE 1975 or ASPA. We'll first click on the Time Review link for a calendar view of all employees' times who report to you. This calendar view may be useful if you are approving vacation, for example, and want to view all time reported in a given month for employees. In this current view for April 2014, we can see 3 employees who are in positions within scope of ASPA. We'll scroll to the right and we can see the time reported and balances for April. We'll click on the arrow to go forward to May 2014. You will see the additional staff in jobs within scope of CUPE 1975, as these employees started tracking time online through the system as of May 2014. You can review time reported, usage, and balances, but won't be able to approve time on this page. You may click on the Change View Options button to filter your search if you only want to review certain time, type, or status. So I'll click on this. If you just want to review vacation time, for example, we can click on the time type and select vacation. We'll click OK. And you will now see only the vacation rows for the employees. If you only want to look at all submitted time, we'll go back to the Change View options. We'll change the time type to all time types. Click off all time. Submitted time is clicked on and we'll click OK. And this will now filter our search to show only those who have submitted their time. And we can note that with the status of submitted at the end of the row. I'll now go back and select all time again. So back to Change View Options, click on all time and OK. I'm now going to close the page and then navigate to the Time Approval link to go through the process of approving time. So we'll go ahead and click on the Time Approval link. The first page you will see is Time Approval. A fiscal year scroll will display. You may click on this to navigate to past or future fiscal years. On the current year 2013-2014, the time for employees in positions that are exempt or in scope of ASPA will display. These employees started tracking time in this system as of April 2012. Employees in positions within scope of CUPE 1975 will start tracking time in the system starting May 2014. So if we scroll forward, we will see the data for these employees as well. So here we will see an employee in scope of CUPE 1975, a technician, and then if we scroll down the page, we will see all of the employees who report to you as the supervisor. So the next one down, we see a coordinator position in scope of ASPA and another clerical assistant. All of the employees will display in the scroll on this page. Each of the month links within the fiscal year display on the left. The time types that will display as a default are those that we calculate accruals for in our central system. For employees in positions within scope of CUPE 1975, this will be both vacation and sick leave. For those that are exempt or within scope of ASPA, this will be vacation only. So we'll scroll down and we'll see an employee here who's in scope of ASPA, that the defaults that appear are vacation. Any additional time that has been added by the employee will appear in the month they were reported in. So we see for this employee there was additional compassionate leave that was reported. And as we scroll up for Amy, we see the additional personal leave that was reported in addition to the default of the vacation and sick leave. The next column displays the hours reported each month by time type. Then we have the monthly accrual. If the accrual is 0, that means the central accruals have not yet been run for the month. These will run and display around the end of the 3rd week in each month. So for example, the accrual for May will appear towards the end of the 3rd week in May. I'll scroll back to the previous fiscal year to view the accruals for employees and jobs within scope of ASPA and exempt. You'll see the accruals each month will vary and are based on the working hours each month. The accrual for April is 0, as this has not yet been run in the system. The next column is the balance. The balance at the end of April will carry forward to the next fiscal year. For new employees who are new to a position, the balance will display in their month of hire. The time reported, accrual, and balance is displayed in hours, so there is a common basis for reporting and calculating time. The employee won't then have to determine what portion of a day to report if time is taken for less than a day. For example, if they're only away for 3 hours, they then just report the 3 hours. To determine how many days this is, the total balance can be divided by the full-time working hours per day for the position. For example, if this is an administrative position, we'll take the total hours of 149.73 divided by the full-time 7.5 hours a day, which gives a balance of 20 full days, which should be used in the next fiscal year. The hours summary per fiscal year displays at the bottom of the page. This will track the total time taken per fiscal year, separated by each time type. The accrual will also display for vacation for all employees and will display for sick leave for employees in positions within scope of CUPE 1975. This can be reviewed to determine how much time has been taken in each fiscal year under each time type. The status that appears on the timesheet will be open for timesheets that haven't been submitted yet for the month, even though time may have been reported and saved. Submitted. The monthly calendar has been submitted and is awaiting approval by the supervisor. Approved. The monthly time has been reviewed by the supervisor and approved that the time was taken as submitted. Processed. The approved time has been picked up and processed in the central time tracking system. And reopened. Either the employee or supervisor has reopened a timesheet. You can click on the month link to view the history of the submission and who opened the monthly calendar. There will also be a vacation request and vacation authorized status, which will be covered in a separate tutorial. As a supervisor, you'll want to watch for time that is in a submitted status. You may click on the Change View Options button on this page also to filter by time type. I'll click on the checkbox and Submitted and click OK. And you'll note that only those in a submitted status will now display. You can then review the time and approve or reopen as appropriate. You may also choose to select an individual employee to review. Again, click on the Change View options. We're going to change this back to all time, but under Employees, or Time for All Employees, I will select Christina and click on OK. And now I will just see the timesheet for one individual employee. I'm now looking at the submitted time for March for Christina. To review it for approval, I can click on the month link. and can review the time that was taken. If the time taken should be approved as reported, you can click on the Approve button either on the time reporting page or back on the time approval page. We've reviewed the March time, so we're going to go ahead and approve. The status will change to approved, and when we navigate back to time reporting, we will also see it was approved by the supervisor, and this displays also in the submission history that can be viewed by both the employee and the supervisor. And we'll return to time approval. If a change should be made after the monthly time is approved, the supervisor may click on the Reopen button to reopen the timesheet. So we're going to go ahead and do this here. A comments box will appear where you may add comments. Anytime this box appears, the employee will receive an email from About Us Notifications with whatever optional notes you've added. These comments will appear in the submission history box on time reporting that both the employee and the supervisor can view. You may also leave the comments box blank, and the employee will still receive the email that the timesheet has been reopened. We've added some comments, and we'll click on OK. The email will have been generated, and when we go and look back in the March timesheet, you can see the comments that we've added now display in submission history. At this point, either the employee or supervisor may make any changes and submit again. As you note, the calendar has now been opened. Once submitted, the supervisor would then do the approval of the changed time. A timesheet may be reopened at any time in the current fiscal year, even after it has been approved or processed. It can't, however, be open for a prior fiscal year. So once we are in May 2014, no changes can be made online for time up to April 30th, 2014. If time should be changed for a prior fiscal year, the information should be forwarded to the payroll department to have a manual adjustment made to the balance. I've now scrolled forward to the next fiscal year, and we see the timesheet for Amy has been submitted. If the timesheet submitted should not be approved, click on the Reopen button, and similar to the previous example, we can enter any reason details in the comments box. So we'll click on Reopen. We've noted that vacation for May 28th and 29th should be added. We'll click on OK, and again this information will be emailed to the employee and will also be stored in submission history. So we'll click on the May 2014 month link, and we'll see that it was reopened with the comments that we've added, and the timesheet now is open for entry. The changes may be made by either the employee or the supervisor and then submitted. The monthly timesheet should be submitted by the employee at the end of each month. It is at the discretion of the unit if the employee should submit a timesheet if there are 0 hours to report. Some units have used this as a way to confirm the employee has reviewed the time taken on a monthly basis. When we look at this timesheet, we can see that there were 0 hours reported and processed for both May and June of 2013. If the department has advised that employees should submit with 0 time, the timesheet should still be approved by the supervisor, confirming that no time has been taken for that month. It is recommended that the approvals are reviewed monthly and completed by the middle of the following month. For example, the employee would submit May time by the end of May, and this should be approved by the supervisor by the middle of June. Any time not submitted or approved will just get picked up in subsequent months' processing. This completes the video on approving time. You may refer to other time tracking tutorials for reporting and submitting time by the employee, requesting vacation by the employee, and authorizing vacation by the supervisor. If you have questions, you may contact your department or Human Resources at 6270 or hrinquiries@usask.ca. Thanks for watching.